Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It was interesting. We had some elections yesterday. It seems like about flat. The one thing that really sticks out is every time Trump is not on the ballot, the base of the Republican Party doesn't come out. So it's like those who supported Trump and he came out for them, they won. And the ones that didn't do too well or barely squeaked by, one or the other. So it's interesting. It just shows you how much and how important the base is, when you run a campaign here in the States. So that's what I got out of it all. Anyhow, there we go. We got the Fed chair in 2 hours, or in this case, it's even less. It's like 1 hour and 15 minutes or 14 minutes. He speaks at 9:15. It's 7:31 here Eastern AM. So we'll have the Fed chairman speaking 2 or 3 times now, at least twice over the next 24 hours, or let's say the next 2 days. So that's going to be entertaining in its own right. Let's see, what do we have from yesterday's chat? We're checking the yesterday chat line to make sure we're answering any questions that that we did not, or the recordings, and they put them in the the chat itself later on the next day. And so let's check out that and see if there's anything there. We had 72 viewers, so there must be some opinion somewhere, and we'll answer those first, and then jump into the. Let's see, we got the promo SM. Can't tell that was not a thumb up or anything like that. Don't see anything there. Let's see. Is there anything more? Follow us, transcript, show transcript. All right. Nope. Don't see anybody asking any questions or doing anything. So let's look at the live. Let's see. Let's go to the live. All right. I don't even see anybody asking me a question this morning yet either. So let's start off with the dollar index. You see we have it on our beta. It's trying to lift. I believe it closed in the buy yesterday, or it was very close. Maybe not. Let's double check. You can see it's green again today on J4X right here. You see it's trying to do the same thing right here. And it looks like it's just today it's starting to lift up and break through. And as we were saying about Mountain West's top, I'm not sure if they're going to challenge that, but it's definitely lifting up. That's for sure. So it's well worth understanding and paying attention to. What else do we got going on with the dollar index? Again, interest rates are kind of mixed, kind of flat, kind of happy, kind of sad. It's that type of thing going on. So it makes it very hard. I don't think, I guess Powell is probably not going to come out and say something like he's going to drop rates. Right now, the bonds are pricing a interest rate drop in May now. It had slipped out to September. Now the bonds are pricing a drop starting in May. So that'll be fun. And we'll all be waiting for it. And I guess, it shifts around. 1 moment it's this and 1 moment it's that. It goes back and forth. So, the interpretation by the bond traders themselves is, it's always well worth paying attention to. We pay attention to it. Let's see, what do we have here? 45-year experience. Oh, that's me. That's me. It's his eye. Ha, look at that egg. There we are. So, I guess there's not much more to be said about the dollar at the moment. Let's instead look at, the pairs trades themselves. So let's take a look at the euro pairs trade. And if anybody would like to see anything, or even go back to something we've seen, we only talked about the dollar so far, the dollar index, that is. But, just put it up on the chat line, and we'll go dissect it, take it apart, and try to figure it out. Now here you go. You can see J4X is trying to show us a little weakness here, which makes sense since we saw strength over on the dollar index itself. So let's put that up here. And this is the futures contract right there. And you can see that, it's dropping down too. It's, showing that weakness. What else can we say about that? Let's take a look at it over here on the older platform that we're going to try to replace as we slowly get our beta in shape. And there's that. Let's put that up on the screen. And you can see there, same situation, green line breaking down just like it's doing right. Let's move this up a little bit. It's doing the same thing right here. Maybe if we make that a little bit bigger too, maybe that'll help a little bit. You see the green line breaking down through the zero line right there. So it's showing its weakness. But what's interesting is that we are in that weekly buy now for a couple of weeks, which is really good. Showing some good strength in there. Let's see. Just scroll it up to there again. And that's what you see right here. Same situation on J4X. And you can see the fast stochastic trading at 71.84. And the slow is trading at 78. So that's telling us also pressure on the product. Hey, what's that? Sarada FX Trader. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Cyber Pit here. How are you doing today? We're looking at the currencies first. That's how we do it. But we're not afraid to look at anything else you'd like to look at. We can jump around to gold or silver or oil or anything, whatever you're interested in. We're always willing to take a look. We find it to be relaxing to shift gears and not just follow through the same old rhythm every day. But what we like to do is we like to be consistent, and that is that we go through the rhythm only because people have gotten used to looking at it, and nothing more than that. And if enough people say we don't watch this particular product, well, I won't follow it. That's the way I roll. So howdy FX Trader. All right. So from there, we'll slide over to the British pound. See what they're doing with that today. And there it is right there. Same situation, pulling back after the nice little run it had from here to there. It's in the weekly buy for 2 full weeks now. Let's see if it survives this week, of course. And let's take a look at it over on J4X. Right there. Same situation, a little red. The fast is at 59.27. And this is at 73. So it's definitely putting a lot of pressure on that product at the moment. And then we put it up over here on our new platform as we slowly mutate towards it. Wait till we get the intraday system on that going too. That'll be really fun. And with our mathematics on the intraday, it can be very, very interesting. And profitable. Let's go to, where's that? 6. There it is right there. And let's put it up on the screen. Right there. You can also see that thing has been 3 weeks in a buy. This is the 3rd week. You see here it's the daily right there. The bar charts themselves. And then this is the daily algorithm versus the weekly algorithm right there. So it's a little correcting, but we're not taking it too serious. We're just thinking it's a dead cat bounce more than anything else, or in this case here, depending on how you want to describe up and down, but in the end result, we just think it's a mild correction, nothing more. Now, I think I'll take a sip of my tea, because we're moving nice and fast and steady. There we are. Okay. There we go. And let's go take a look at the Swiss franc, which was definitely acting odd. Now has jumped back into the rhythm, I guess you could call it. You can see here it's gaining against the dollar for the last last 5 days. The fast is at 30.4. The slow is at 27, so it's trying to turn up. Let's put it up over here. Right there. And you can see how much it's flatlined. So let's do this. It was even interesting to see how it fell underneath so far from the Bollinger Band too, and then come up and hit it and backed off again. Very interesting. As you can see, our yellow manifold here, that's mirror image, that is the standard deviation, just like the Bollinger Bands are, and we use that to measure through a filter of our algorithm. And so you can see usually we're pretty much ahead of the curve. We go into a cell here. You can see that the Bollinger Band is actually busted. You can see the manifold underneath there, that pressure on it. And then when we get into a buy, it fails at it, goes back into the cell, and still keeps on dropping. Finally, we get into a buy here. Takes it up to the Bollinger Band on the minus side, but doesn't last. It's still having problems finding that range again. And you can see there on the weekly, we've been in a weekly sell for 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th week, and it's trying to just go nowhere at this point, the Swiss franc, which is interesting. It's one of the most active currencies in the world, so we pay attention to that. It's the 5th most active currency. We went through that list yesterday. We'll say it again real quick. The most active, obviously, is the American dollar. Second is the euro. Third is the Japanese yen. Fourth is the British pound. Fifth is the Swiss, and sixth is the kroner. And so then, a lot of currencies are just locked to the dollar in general, because their currencies are so weak that they have to lock them to the dollar to have them trade right or something of that nature, where people are willing to deal with them. So there it is with the Swiss. You can see we're trying to lift up here today, right there. This may turn green before you know it. Over here, we'll see this start to turn green, and you can see this has already turned up. It's at 29.3, almost 4, versus 27.3. So we're seeing that buying come in, just like we're seeing it right there with the green line getting through the 0 line. That and histogram are through it, and you can see here the weekly is the fast algorithm is leaping up through the manifold. Now we just need this to turn up, and then we'll be really confused to see the Swiss losing against the dollar like that, because we keep on thinking that it's going to hold up. All right. From there, we'll jump over to the yen. There it is. And there's the yen. You can see here, it's 2 days in an upwardly trend. You can see it's at 59.2 versus 43.3 when it comes to the slow versus the fast. Over here on our Chicago Quant, you can see we're trying to climb into the buy. Yesterday we were very close, but it was, see that plot 1 in the little box right there, that little square box. Plot 1 showed it to be minus 0.01. And the plot for the line itself was at minus 0.03. Whereas it's been in the weekly buy for weeks now and months. Let's just tighten that up, or let's move it over just to show you where it's been doing that. It's been in that weekly buy now since what is that? August, basically the end of August, going in June. I think that was July right there, right? No, that's June 5. Yeah. So, and then there's, there's the August, and then 9 is September. So it's been in a buy since that point, down in the 142s. There does seem to be some, I don't want to call it confusion, but there does seem to be something going on there with the yen. Oh, there goes FX. Can you walk me through your daily trading routine? Okay. How much time do you spend analyzing the markets before making a trade? Well, we look at, let's put it this way. Let's give you a good flavor. When shifting our gamma, like that, Here is an intraday chart of the product. This is the S&P 500. So we use that as an example. And let's minimize that one and just bring this one up. And we'll minimize that one and expand it even greater so you can see it all very closely. We watch the intradays on a lot of different products, and what we do is we let our math do the talking. The math makes the decision. It doesn't take long for our math to make a decision, and because it's very simplistic, and that is that when it goes plus, it means to be long, and when it goes minus, it means to be short. That's about it. We have a 8.6 out of 10 time accuracy rate. So, like the crap table at the casino, if you fail on one, then chances are you just double up and go to the next, and that normally rarely gets past 2 wrongs. And so it always seems to, for the last 40 some odd years, be that accurate where it finds a way to get into the plus. And so and using stops and taking profits makes it a winner chicken dinner in the end. I hope that makes sense. It's not complicated, our mathematics. In other words, using it, we invented it. It's our proprietary math for the last 40 some odd years, but it's not hard to use. It's relatively simple to use, and that is when you can see it like right here. Now this is an intraday chart, and then we can go back and look at, say, if you have a specific product, we'll go look at that on a daily and weekly basis. We do this like right here. Here's the yen. Here's your daily algorithm. So right here it's telling you to be long. This is an actual loss right there for a change. And now it's trying to climb into the buy. And maybe this buy, since we're in a weekly buy, what we do is we always follow the daily and the weekly. So in other words, when this thing right here went into the weekly buy, we get into the daily buy. In other words, we get long. Now, be it bull spread, depending on how you trade, depending on how hard delta, we're option traders. And so our recommendations of how to utilize the system is always better to use it through bull spreads and bear spreads, things like that. It limits risk and increases profits. And see, how much time do you spend analyzing? Don't have to spend a lot of time, but the universe is a big universe. So it's really nice when we do the webinar here. It's really nice for somebody to ask about a product, because we never know if they're going to discover something that is interesting to trade, and we're not paying attention to it because we limit ourselves. But always remember, you can spend the profits of the S&P 500 just as easily as you can spend the profits of soybeans. So it's not really necessary the particular product itself. It depends on what you're interested in and what you pay attention to and what is liquid. Most things are liquid, but we like to steer always towards the most liquid options. So in other words, like an Apple computer, or some of the major, or the Magnificent Seven, or that type of thing when it comes to the stocks. But there are plenty of opportunities out there when it comes to products to trade. So it all comes down to the individual trader's interest. Does that make any sense to you, FX trader? So in other words, if you love the yen, maybe it's well worth paying attention to it and trading it, I guess. I don't know. I try not to love any of them. I just trade. I love the math. That's what I love. And the math tells us. Again, we're in a weekly buy here. Here's one. The next one was the next daily buy was a failure. It was a loss. Okay. The next one was another big win. So it took care of that loss. Let's see. We keep on moving this over and we'll show you. As long as we're in a weekly buy, we only think about being in the buy. In this case here, if you put on bull spreads, obviously going from the 47 to the 50 area over a 4-week period. Also, we trade. We always think that anything less than 6 weeks out in options seem to be tougher to deal with. And this way you can, it can go into the money, and you end up getting the decay of out of the money on that binary and so forth, and it just works a little bit better that way. Here's another one. Goes into the buy here, and it's still in the buy all the way to there. So it went into the buy at basically 140. We'll use the close 149.29, and it got up to Went up 71 pips over a 3-week period. That's it. And went up into the 50s. Somewhere right around here, it went up to the 50s over like I guess it was like 5 days. So, it gave you an opportunity to take a profit, make some money. Where's the next one? There was the next one right there. Went into the buy at 148.9, and 2 days later it was almost up to 151. Was at 150.77, and then this one was a loser right there, and now it's trying to get back into that buy again. So, percentage wise, it seems to be about normal there. You're looking for almost 2 losses out of every 10. Sometimes 1 loss out of every 10, that type of thing. Does that help you understand a little bit more? And this is the daily, weekly. This is the weekly algorithm. We like to play the daily and the weekly together, and be it the long or short. And then, like we showed you, on intraday gamma adjustments and delta adjustments for spreads, we have intraday. There's a 2000. Is this the 2001? This is the 2023. Just happens to match the year. That it went into the buy right here. Then it went up. Went into the sell right here. It was a very small sell-off. Didn't really go down much. Went back into the buy right here, and has been in a buy all the way up to there. As you can see here, when you look at the box, it's zeros. So. And then from there, right there is the minus, or is there the minus? Let's see, which one's the minus? Right there is the minus. Right there, and that is still not in a buy. It's trying right there. You can see it's trying to get into the buy as we speak. Now this is the longer term one. We do the same thing with the both of them. When this is in a buy and that's in the buy, then it's a buy, and so forth. And so you can see here, it's still flirting with it. It's trying to get into the buy from the sell there, and obviously it's not a good one. But if you're just adjusting your gamma or your deltas, then it's not that much. You're just giving up profits more than anything else. Does that all make sense to you? And do you trade options at all? I hope that made sense to you. And if it doesn't, let me know. Let me know what you don't understand, and we can go and explore it together. As Richard Feynman would used to say, if you can't teach it, you don't understand it. Richard Feynman was this bongo player out at Caltech. He liked to play the bongos. Very interesting fellow. They also gave him a Nobel Prize in something. I don't think it was bongos. I don't think they do any Nobel Prizes in music. Well, we're sipping that tea, waiting for your answer. It's no problem. We'll take it slow and steady. I like sipping tea. Okay. Still trying to get into that buy right there. All right, we're going to move along. Maybe there's an internet problem or something like that for FX Trader. You can always watch the videos. Let's hope he or she gets into that. All right, from there, let's get back to, let's see, what were we looking at? We were looking at the yen. So let's go over to the experiment. I like to call it the experiment. And that is the Euro Turkish Lira. Fascinating. We've watched this product really, they've been doing all kinds of economic strategies and, concepts in Turkey, doing lots of experimentation. in real time in real terms. It's kind of interesting and kind of neat in the sense that they changed their policies to try to. I'm not sure exactly. To me, it would be to undervalue the currency. If they undervalue the currency, some of the old philosophy that we know that doesn't necessarily work, but they keep on trying different ways of doing it. If you undervalue your currency, sometimes you bring in investors. This way you bring in money to help grow your economy. But when you undervalue your currency, you must also cut regulation, not increase regulation. And so far that Turkey has been kind of trapped in that middle ground where it's not able to really cut regulations, and at the same time it found a good way of devaluing the currency. So unfortunately that puts inflation in that country anywhere between 61% to up to 160%. So it's truly a economic experiment that's going on there. And so there you see it there. We've been in the weekly buy since down in here. This is where they raised the interest rates from 12.5% to 25%. You can see that it has not exactly worked. It worked really well for about 4 or 5 days. You can see that. It was down here for a little bit. It did it on this day, and then the next day it was up, and then it was down again, and it was up. It was just kind of working its way, saber-toothing its way back up again. Now it's well beyond when they did it, and I don't believe that because of the currency being that high up, they will drop their currency rate, their interest rate from 25% down to 12.5%. Maybe they'll do the other. Maybe this experiment. We can't really figure out what they're doing yet, but maybe they'll bring it to 37.5% interest rates, and then get some relief for a couple of days again. So that's the what we call the live experiment, or the laboratory, watching economic theory being played out by brave politicians willing to try different things to make life better for the people in Turkey. All right. From there, we go over to the number one brick in the world. That's right. We look at the number one brick in the world. Can anybody guess what that is? Well, if you're a follower here, you know what it is. It used to be the Mexican peso until they decided to not be a brick anymore, or want to be a brick anymore. So now the second most powerful brick, or now the most powerful brick in the world is... Are y'all ready for that? It is dollar South African rand. That's what it is. Ooh, a little bounce going on right there. You can see a little strength. And when we watch the rand, we know that when it's going down, usually gold is going up and silver is going up and the metals are going up. But of late, it's been a little shaky, You can see here, we had a bottom around 18. Let's see, in September, I guess it was. Let's see, where is it at? We had a bottom in gold. Let's put gold up on the screen here. And there's gold. So we had a nice bottom in gold back in the beginning of October, down in the 1830s. And you can see here, that is October 3rd too. That was a top. And you can see as South African rand, when it goes down, it's gaining against the dollar. And that usually has a habit of pushing up the metals complex. In other words, most of the metals start to lift. And you can see here, it did. Gold went roaring up until just recently, up into here. And then just started to, it's got this big odd base type of thing going on. I don't think it's a head and shoulders as much as I think it's a base. It looks like a base. And it's trying to base out in here and then maybe turn up again. And so we keep on expecting to see the South African rand act like this, show that weakness. Let's show it to you over here. Right there. There's the South African rand. There's that October high to match up with the gold. And you can see it, it traded that way and then back down again. And in this case here, it keeps on gaining against the dollar. But the gold itself, as you can see, is kind of just chopping sideways. They don't seem to have any clear direction at the moment. Let's see, that makes sense, thank you. But I am quite bad at math. Well, do you know what 1 plus 3 is? Is 1 plus 3 4? Do you understand that? Or how about this one? Uh, 2 minus 4 is 2. Okay? So that's all you need to know is just simple add and subtract. You must know when something is 0, it's 0. And then when it's above 0, it's plus. When it's minus 0, it's minus. Does that make any sense? It's relatively simple math. You don't have to be too scared about it. And math is just like a language of any form you want to. It's like any other form. So don't be as scared. I think you can learn the basic math for trading because it's just plus minus situations. All right. But if you feel like not, then I can understand why you're standing to the side. But watch the videos. I mean, we have years and years of videos. We've been doing this for a long, long time. Love it. Long, long time. All right. Now, from there, we go over to silver. Huh. Okay. There's the silver right there. And you see silver's trying to move down too at the same time. With the South African Rand trying to lift up, which is normal. When it's trying to lift up, obviously, it's widened out more again. Right there. All right, and that's the action we see right there. Silver, just being silver compared to, and you notice it has like that head and shoulders type of thing going on right there. But it's not as high up as you can see with silver. It was up around the 26s, and if it was actually matching, the gold. We can show you that again. If it was matching the gold, we could basically say it would make sense. But it doesn't. It seems like, you can see here, these are some pretty good highs. It's played with the 2000. The all-time is around 2200 or so. So it's really surprising that, we're seeing way more strength in the gold than we are the silver. I guess that's because of that pairs trade thing that goes on with it, and the delivery, and how hard it is to collect up, and Yep. So, and then we go over to copper, which we always think we're looking at through, what is going on in China when we look at copper. And you can see here, copper is trying to get into the sell today. It tried to do it yesterday and failed at it right there. And so we're flirting it along with the sell as we speak right there. But it's not happening yet. Just on the edge of it. On the edge. Let's see. We just got texted to see if we can find who did that. Let's see who that is. All right. Let me just answer this. Good. And there we are. Okie dokies. Okie dokie smokies. There we go. Now, so there's the copper, and we're not expecting anything more than what we already see, and that is copper is trying to break down, but not doing too good a job at it right there. Okay, last but not least, we slide over to platinum, which is really giving us that wild, kind of signal that things are really not going normal whatsoever. I mean, we were trapped in a weekly sell throughout all that strength in gold and silver. It finally gets some legs and gets going, and here we are now underneath $900 again. Just pressing down, and you can see today it's trying to get into the sell there. I'll have to double check that, but it is in the sell. I'm sorry, it went into the sell here, and it's still in the sell. And I'm sorry, the weekly is trying to climb into the sell. That's what it is. The weekly is trying to climb into the sell. So it's like, woo, it's a. So that is that, What else can we say? That's the metals complex. So it is, platinum is kind of like, as we look at copper and we think, okay, copper tells us how China is doing. We look at platinum and think, that's kind of trying to tell us how gold and silver are doing, and none of them are really jumping out and making anything, really that clear or very positive, or, it's real sloppy, really sloppy action. All right. Now from there, what do we got next? Let's go to, let's see what's next. Now we go to the Canadian. Boy, and there's another one that's upside down and doing odd things. It's been doing that now since Trudeau lost the election and had to link with a minority government to be the prime minister. It's been upside down all over the place because the policies seem to be really shifting hard in Canada. Let's see, right? Let's go to. There's Canadian right there. You see the Canadian is trying to lift up again, closed in a daily buy yesterday, which with this upwardly projection, in many ways, in a long-term view, it's been very positive because when it's going up like that and losing against the dollar overall, and we'll put that up over here too on the J4X, right there. You can see that upwardly projection. That tells us that the energy sector wants to go down. That's what it's screaming, and sure enough, I mean it has. It's made new highs and all, which is fascinating. That's a new high there, but over the last, let's say, the last month and a half, it is going down in value overall. You can see today we're trading in the 76s on the spot oil. And that's the front month at 76.30, and the February contract right there is at 76.09. So they were $3 wide at one point, over $3 wide, and now they are only 25 cents wide. So it's really been a fascinating action there. The Canadian, in many ways, in a longer term view, has been very helpful of understanding the trend. It's just that used to be daily and weeklies had more influence. Now they don't seem to have that, and that's the strange part out of it all. And that's why we think that money itself is not reaching in on a daily or weekly basis with the Canadian. It seems like there's longer term investors involved in it now, the monthly and the quarterly investors that hold on to positions longer, and they're holding on strong. In this case here, They think that the Canadian needs to be devalued against the dollar, and mainly because they believe energies are coming down, not going up. And you can see it there. Now let's swing by and check out. Let's see. Let's take a look at Brent North Sea oil, and we'll put that up right here. And there's Brent. It's been in that daily sell on our math for weeks now, and you can see here in the weekly signal itself, it's been in a weekly sell for months, since the end of August. So, no, September. I'm sorry, September, right there. So as much as the product found a way to climb up, it almost challenged the high here. It is now broken down and below that low there of 82. And here we are at basically 80. This is Brent oil. And we're seeing that same thing with West Texas Intermediate, which is, truly insightful in many different ways. What else can we say about any of that? I guess the most interesting thing of all is that the spread has really crushed itself. We watched, there are videos you go back 2 months ago and you're looking, and even a month ago, we're looking at spread wide, back in the middle of October, where the spread was literally $3 wide between the December contract and the February contract. So that's a fascinating swing, which means that the demand itself has diminished dramatically. All right, now, matter of fact, that might be the title today. The title really might be oil, because that is fascinating, and we paid attention to it and we emphasized it so many times. And so basically what it comes down to is the title today might just be that, oil spread collapses. That's pretty much the answer to it all. Okay. There we go. Now from there, we go over to natural gas. And there's natural gas. You can see natural gas doing the same thing, just like we just saw with the oil right there, doing its best to hang up in the, at the lows. We're seeing that same thing going on with natural gas right here, hanging out at the lows right there. Matter of fact, it's even making lower lows. You see that? That's going further back. It's been a while since it's down in the 309 again, like over the last summer, I think it was. And so we're seeing natural gas find its way down, and here we are going into the winter months, and we're going into it's trying to go into a weekly sell at the same time. So they're, as much as they need the natural gas in a lot of places in the world, it doesn't really have them, chasing it that much. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the energy company in Spain. That's the only way we can see it, and we're hoping maybe it'll be challenging the 26 today with the way it's collapsing. We watched this one particular energy company and its stock. It gives us great insight of the way they're pricing natural gas in Europe. And there it is right there. And you can see the product is, the low today was like 26.27, something like that. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. 26.57 with a low today of 26.34. So you can see that pressure on it here. There's right there. and but trying to do a little pop on the upside as we speak. Just coming off its lows. And then you can see here it's been in a daily sell for like, I don't know, 7 days, 8 days. And the weekly is in a weekly buy and trying, today is Wednesday, midweek, it's still trying to get into the sell. So we're going to be watching and seeing how well that does when it does try to get into the sell. If it does get into the sell, that's the oddest part of all about it. All right, now from there, that pretty much cleans us up with the energy sector. If you want to see anything particular in the energy sector, just let us know and we'll go look at it again. What we're going to do now is we'll shift over to the stock market and we'll look at cryptos. So we can jump, let's do this. Let's look at the cryptos really quick since we're right there. And there is... Where? There we are. You can see it right here. Let's see. Let's put it up on J4X too. And there is Bitcoin. You can see it's been moving up. We got up to about 36,000. You can see right there, 35,914. You see it right here inside our mathematics. You can see right there. Still holding up very well between 34 and 36,000. What else can we say about this? I mean, it's yesterday they even went after it a little bit right there, and you can see right there that the pressure is on it right there, and just mainly on the upside. And our weekly's been in a weekly buy for a long while, so our math has been telling us over and over again, that they want to take, the product up, and they have. They've moved it up from the 26,000 to the 36,000. So, that's you're talking basically that's 10,000, and that's a big move. You're talking about 42%. All right, now from there, let's shift over to the S&P 500. Right there. You see the strength in it right there. We're going to put it over here. There's the intraday itself. You can see that pressure. They're trying, you can see right here, it's still in a buy on this, and it's trying to push into the daily sell, and we'll see how it goes. If it goes daily sell, and then this finds a way to go into a daily sell. But right now, they're not exactly pushing it out the door. They're still trying to be long. The Fed chairman speaks in under an hour now. They must have an idea what he's going to say, and I would think that that'll keep the markets kind of, he's. But at this point, it'll be interesting to see what the Fed chair says and how they act. I know Mrs. Yellen is over in China, negotiating something or another. I don't know what, but surrender beats me. You never know what they're going to do. These are the people that talk about transitory, All right, let's have a sip of the tea again. There you go. So. Let's take a look at a couple of the other products. Let's take a look at the Tech 100 right there. You can see the same thing. It's been holding very firm. It's in that daily buy since right here. It's been in a weekly buy, basically right in that same area, showing lots of strength. So it's made a lot of sense. It's going from 14,500, even less, 14,400, all the way up to almost 15,500. At least 400. It's done, right? Yeah, there's 388. There is 412, so 400. So it's been a nice move, almost 1,000 points over a 6-day period. Now from there we go over and take a look at the grand lady of them all, and that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there. You see, same situation, looking very firm. It's been in a buy since down in here, 33,000 area, and it's just getting into the weekly buy last week, and it seems to have plateaued. We got a lot of plateauing going on. In other words, it's building a base, and there doesn't seem to be any real clear direction from that base at the moment. But one thing seems to be telling me is that they're not selling it. That's the thing, is that they're not selling it. They're just not buying it. It's an absentee of buyers. And then I guess Mr. Powell speaks, and that will make them all kind of comfortable or excited or something of that nature. So. All right. From there, we'll take a look at the Russell. I saw some stats yesterday. The Russell 2000, 40% of the companies in the index are minus in earnings. They're actually losing money. And in the Russell 3000, 60% of them are losing money. So that's why we pay attention to this, is because only true speculative money will reach into there when you have almost 1 out of 2 doing poorly, And you can see that right here. It went into a daily sell yesterday. It's kind of sideways at the moment. It's never got into the weekly buy. This is the Russell 2000. So that little dance is going on and not backing off, that's for sure. All right, now from there, what's the last? That's it. That's the last of the 4 indices. So we did the S&P 500. We did the. Let's just show you again the S&P 500 right there. You can see it's up at the highs. It's still trying to battle, and it's in the weekly buy. Over on our new platform, it actually went into a weekly buy, I think, a week beforehand. Let me just double check. Let's find it. And the same thing, there's the Tech 100. It did the same thing. Went into a weekly buy 3 weeks back, not 2 weeks back. And same thing here. Right there, you can see the same thing. It also went into a buy 3 weeks back, not 2 weeks back. And SPY, same thing there. It also went into a buy. So the new platform picked up the strength coming in a little bit faster, which is nice. That's why we're upgrading, I guess you could say, and we're doing our own programming. So it's a lot of peck and pollen, traders. A lot of peck and pollen. So anyhow, this has been Doc from North America, since there's no questions. And, we've gone through everything we look at every day. So, this is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be tomorrow on Thursday, day before Friday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, have a safe and smart day. We will check the chat line and see what the comments were about from anybody that might have watched the video, and we'll give you your answers that you might be looking for. I hope that makes sense to you. So, ta-ta for now.